Welcome to Java and thank you kindly for joining. It's October 6th, 2025. It is also Monday. This is my second attempt. I had a few audio issues the first time, but we're still working under government shutdown, and so we're in dark data mode. Now, this is mainly the government numbers, which we all know are manipulated, so we don't necessarily go by those at any rate. But let's get started, as always, with what's going on in the markets. We've got some interesting movers this morning. Now, Fear Greed made her index. The website was not working, but the number is sitting currently at 54. So that is neutral, but pushed a little bit more to the greed side. We've got definitely money flowing into the markets. There's a couple of geopolitical reasons, and I'll go over why in just a moment. We've got the 10-year yield is up significantly, as well as bond yield spreads across the board. And this is because, again, these geopolitical reasons I'll go over in a moment. Relative strength of the dollar is up. We've got money flowing into cryptocurrencies as well as the stock market and gold. Now, Bitcoin hit new all-time high again, 125,000. It's pulled back slightly, but they're still very much in green mode. We've got stock market also, other than Nasdaq, down slightly. Volatility index is increasing. Gold also hit a new record high. It actually touched $4,000 and then it pulled back because that is a major resistance level as well as a psychological level. So we'll see if it can break that level. 4,000 is early. A lot of people calling for it by the year end. We've still got quite a bit of time to go. So oil also up. This is mainly on OPEC Plus, talking about the supply that they're going to be releasing. So with this, we've got silver also all-time high. So what is going on? Well, the main daily driver this morning really is Japan and then France. So in Japan, they've got a new prime minister, Takaichi. And what is going on is she is very dovish and they're expecting the money printer to flow. So the yen, quantitative easing, easy monetary policy, their inflation could be at stake here. So we've got to watch that yen carry trade very closely going forward. But because of this, their stock market is booming this morning, and that also is affecting bond yields. Now, the second main driver this morning is actually the French Prime Minister resigned. Now, he's only been in office less than a month, but now Macron has another kind of a dilemma ahead of him as to whether he will appoint another one, run elections, or see going forward. So, because this geopolitical uncertainty, that's kind of driving things. Now, we've also got in the news Israel and Hamas are looking at negotiating in Egypt and having a hostage deal to where they're going to release the rest of them. If this happens, it would be negative for the defense stocks in the United States, but only temporarily. They are going to continue not just wars here. If it's not that one, we've got others that we can very easily get into, but also defense spending, which is really what drives them, is not going to stop. Now, this revaluation of gold is what I wanted to talk about, and that is main driver behind all of these large corporations as the government chooses where that money flows, and it comes from the top down. So even though we've got the shutdown halting the Bureau of Labor Statistics data, we can still tell through independent websites and other means that hiring appears to be slowing. Well, we already knew that. And not only that, but corporations are trying to lean out, cut costs, and that means that they are firing people, cutting down on their labor costs. So we're going to look forward to a little bit more of unemployment going to increase. And that is going to be the main driver of this shift that we're seeing towards this recession. Now we're on the precipice, bit of a melt up this morning with the stock market prior to the dropout. So that could happen at any time. We are seeing cautions here. This is quite a good move up. It could definitely go farther, but you don't want to be caught on the other side if you can avoid that. So The United States national debt now is rising $6 billion every day. So they've got to take action on this very soon. I believe that's going to be the reevaluation. That could be that final melt up kick. But once the inflation starts, it's going to be a look out below event. Now, with our calendar, for the most part, we're really looking at Fed speakers because we're not going to get any real data. Trade deficit is scheduled, but we're not going to get that. And then 3 p.m. tomorrow would be consumer credit. We'll see what happens with this. So these labor reports that they get out and the numbers really don't serve us much purpose because we know they're all manipulated, other than they do tell us what the market is going to be looking at and reacting off a very emotional market. So, a few things I'd like to go over because they all tie together. OpenAI, which is a private company at this moment, signing an AMD chips deal worth tens of billions of dollars. In exchange, they're getting another 10%. Very magical number there. So prior to them going public, they're getting all of this money funneling in. And when the United States government does all of these contracts, this is a way for this revaluation money to flow to corporations first and the elite, and then eventually trickle down to people. So another case, we've got AstraZeneca, Big Pharma, again, signing $555 million artificial intelligence deal. They are developing gene editing therapies. Now, ironically enough, it's very common. We all know the number 666, what it stands for. Five is the number of man. So we're going to look at this forward and keep an eye on that, but more money flowing straight to AstraZeneca and elites first, and then eventually down to the people that they hire. Now, I had posted this prior. It's from 2019. But what we're going to watch and why I posted this is the holdings in gold by country. When that revaluation happens, you can see who stands to benefit. Now, there is an outlier, and that is China. So even though this is a few years old, this last reported number we had from them, because they just stopped reporting, they have been stacking gold hand over fist. They have surpassed at least France for sure. So they've got a massive stockpile of gold. They've also taken state control of all of the gold mines that are producing. So they've leveled up. And we've got Russia, not too bad, and they are no longer reported in these. So I believe Germany also has sold off some of theirs due to their debt and restructuring, but they're still handling it quite well. But this will give you an idea of how this flow is going to happen by country. So you can look forward and look at the products of these because they're about to have a massive shift with all of their currencies. Now, Elon Musk is putting out Grokipedia a couple of weeks. This is the answer to Wikipedia. Now, I don't know that this would be necessarily any better. However, I am open to a different source of information being out to the public because at least there will be more than one and there's a bit of a counter view. Even if they're not both correct, one can at least have not an additional point that they can extrapolate from. And that's a lot of what I do. I have to take different data points, in particular in times like this, as many as I can find that are reliable, and then kind of match them up to each other. So we've got Caroline Leavitt announcing domestic terrorism investigation. This is critical. And the whole reason this is going to tie into many other things going forward, as you will see in a bit. I am hoping to get out another video about this a little more specifically later today. It might be tomorrow though. So this domestic terrorism label does strip all rights of any individuals, including individuals in the United States that are full citizens that would normally have these rights. But since the Patriot Act, this label does change that. So we've got a lot of structure happening and shifting, and it's not exactly what they're saying is going on to the press, as you're not shocked. So with this, there's a lot of well, I'll just put this in the next video because there's too much behind this. And a lot of it has to do also with them calling all of the major heads of the military out to DC lately. It's not just about the crime fighting gangs that they put out in the presser. So, with this, I wish you all a wonderful trading day, good day in general. And until I see you again, my friends, resist.